Am I ready to get back to focusing on the Merna Annals full time and finishing it up? I have a lot of things I need to sort out, a lot of things I need to confess about my writing process that I didn't entirely all go over last night in the live because it was more specific to just these books. So, what am I doing to get back in the mindset to do this Kickstarter that some of you want to know how I'm doing? Let's get started. Welcome on back, everybody. We have officially gotten into the last couple of videos I'm going to do for Vlogmas. I'm doing the 12 days of Vlogmas, and I think this is video 8 or 9. So we're matching last year at least. Yay, let's see if we can beat it. So, on the other hand, how am I getting back in the mindset of the Merna Annals in order to do all that needs to be done by the end of 2024? First of all, as you can see, my meta wall of epic plotting is back. No, it is not up there pretty because, in my opinion, this is what I call as a teacher in the English classroom. I would have called this a living document. I would have always just kept it in scratch writing mode just to work on. So what I'm doing here under season 1, I'm going to list all the tasks I need to finish up for book 1 and book 2 going wide. There's a couple of like teeny tiny things, a few vendors they haven't gone out to yet over small fixes I couldn't get done before the move. But regardless of that fact, I'm going to go ahead and try to get those 2 all finalized and out like in January. That's January me's problem, alongside doing all the media stuff and finishing writing the bottom 3. So what media stuff do I have to do? We already have a video out for Frey and Lee with Bound by Vengeance in mind. It's here on the channel. There should be a character video for Frey, a character video for Lee, and then there's 1 or 2 like them together overarching plot sequence. And I do apologize. My hands are really, really shaky today. The anxiety is real, guys. Anyway, so I am on chapter 32 of this one. And that's going to be going up on Ream Stories as I edit them over break and get them done for the winter I never take the winter holiday break off. It's the teacher mindset of breaks. What everyone else calls a break is just time for me to catch up on my life still applies because I still have a day job client that takes up most of my time. So, anywho, I want to make sure I get the last 20 chapters out on Ream Stories for everybody ASAP. Then I have these 2. Book 4, Bound by Hope and Spirit. This is Vovery and Maria's book, which I want to get this book done so quick because of the time of year it is. This is the Merna Christmas book, for those of you who don't know. It takes place actually during like the traditional 12 days of Christmas, and is how Vovery, as a former Catholic, woos Maria, who's a former Catholic. Keep that in mind. Bound by Lyric and Time also needs finished writing, but it takes place in the spring, so I'm hoping to get it all rewritten, revision, edit mode, draft 2 done. And those 2 will start joining book 3 and book 1 and 2 over on Ream Stories. It's helping me to get back into the mindset, but book 4 was the first book I fully dictated because of carpal tunnel pain, and dictation takes a lot of training to do for the voice to pick everything up for you correctly and appropriately. So it's a mess. But other than putting that wall up, what are other things I'm doing to get prepped for the Kickstarter? Going through some of my old inventory in those bottom boxes down there from the past one to see what I do have. That's ahead. Other things, actually sitting down and plotting out my tiers. That's where my biggest concern is the tiers and how I want to have them interact with one another. There's 2 ways to do a Kickstarter. All the swag or bare bones swag, and I hope I'm doing enough swag this year. I contacted a manufacturer to make certain swaggy things for the next Kickstarter, but I don't know if it's going to be too much because the upfront cost is astronomical. I would have to buy all that probably up front to get it made and to be here on time. And for everything I'm looking for, it's like $1,000 we don't yet have. So I'm hoping to find a way to be able to get everything finalized for that, because some of the things I'm looking at doing is this Kickstarter is going to be a base model for what I hope to eventually maybe make into a book box about my books, but that's 2024, late 2024, and I honestly got to see how the Kickstarter goes before I even bother to consider what it's going to take to do a book box. So getting back into the world is involving a lot of rereading. It's also involving a lot of looking at the fact that there's a lot of plot holes still that need filled in. Now, mind you, I have a second season planned, so some of the plot holes are purposeful. But I'm anxious. The first time I put out book 1 and 2, they flopped hard. Sales are doing better this time around and are ramping up. I'm learning to let go of the fear associated with the failure of the last time I tried to do this. And I thought I had triumphed it. And then we moved. And then I started getting back into everything. And I kind of had a moment of, WTF are you doing? When I was in college, I said I would love it if I could just teach until I could become an author, because the whole mindset of you need a paying job to pay the bills before you make it big was shoved into my head a lot by many people around me and still is today. And just trying to accept that it is okay, just like it was in college, for me to go and get a teaching degree to be a public servant, because that's what teachers are. We're public servants. They literally call us that in some states, to the point that West Virginia's insurance for teachers is called the Public Employees Insurance Agency. Anyway, it's not good insurance either. Sorry, West Virginia. I had it and you didn't cover half of my OBGYN stuff. If it wasn't for a baby, they didn't cover it. That's a problem. That's another story for another day. What am I doing? Anyway, if I went to college to be a teacher, to be a public servant for others, why can't I open this business and write my books to share for the sake of healing and helping other people write their healing stories, while also focusing on my own books? I feel that's the problem. I feel selfish about it. I really feel selfish about it. And getting over that hump of it's okay to be selfish, to do something you love, is hard to accept for some of us. I love these books, not because of the amount of time they've spent rent-free, not entirely because of the publication costs, right? But the entire time they lived in my head. It's Once the book is out in the world, it's no longer in my hands. It becomes in the hands of the reader. It becomes the reader's book. So I hope I do the readership I'm growing, and I hope and pray that the healing that I felt as a writer comes through the pages to the reader. My books do not tackle easy stuff under a fantasy, romance, and more lens. And that's okay. That it's not for everybody. The people who need to read it will read it. And that has to be my mantra from now on. That has to be my step away from the fear. That has to be me telling fear, look, you're really not welcome to hang around here anymore. But you're staying anyway. And as I said in that live stream last night, we butcher ourselves for the sake of others. We need to be the one who heals ourselves for our own sake sometimes too. And putting down the knife puts the knife in between me and fear. Fear's not going to use it against me until I pick it back up again. And I need to stop, the whole dying by 1,000 tiny cuts. That needs to stop. And it stops when we start admitting that we're writing what we want to write, and it itches at the back of our heads to write the things we want to write regardless of our genre, because somebody somewhere needs to read it for some reason. If you feel like that's your books, and if you're questioning whether or not you should be sharing, come talk to me. I'm here to listen. We'll find a plan. So many of you have been helpful friends and more to me by helping me find a plan. Let me help you in return. I adore all of you. Please be taking care of your mental health first this holiday season. So I'll write her out.